In December 2025, the PlayStation 5 BootROM keys leaked online. This is an unfixable hardware breach that exposes every PS5 console ever manufactured. BootROM is the foundational code executed the moment you power on the device. Because it is physically embedded in the processor during manufacturing, Sony cannot patch this vulnerability through software updates. This leak has flooded the internet with tutorials and forums promising a lifetime of free PS5 games to average users. But having the technical ability to hack a console is not the same as having a reason to do it. To decide if a jailbreak is worth it, let's weigh hardware risk against homebrew stability on this quadrant chart. PS4 and original Switch sit in low risk, high reward. PS5 and Switch OLED fall into high risk, low reward. Xbox Series is off the chart. Success depends on matching the specific hardware in your living room to the actual risks involved. The appeal of a PS5 jailbreak is obvious: running unsigned code or custom homebrew. Right now, this is possible through beta exploits like BDJ and Y2JB. However, the scorecard shows a significant downside. PS5 exploits carry a 30% crash rate and SSD corruption risk. For the Switch OLED, the barrier is physical. The only option is micro-soldering a mod chip, a process with a 40% failure rate for DIY attempts. Applying too much heat or force can lift copper pads or damage the CPU, turning a $300 console into a paperweight. If the hardware survives the install, the network remains a threat. Connecting a modified console to the internet triggers background telemetry that detects custom signatures immediately. These are permanent, hardware-level bans. You lose access to online multiplayer, system updates, and your entire library. For current-generation hardware, the promise of free games requires taking financial and physical risks that most users find unacceptable. While Sony and Nintendo rely primarily on software-level security, the Xbox Series X and S are built on a multi-layer hardware defense. To hack an Xbox, you have to defeat a secure boot chain, extract keys from a dedicated TPM chip, and escape a virtualized hypervisor simultaneously, something that hasn't been done. Because no true jailbreak exists, the jailbroken Xbox listings on marketplaces are scams. Sellers often charge a premium for a console preloaded with a stolen or shared Game Pass account. The original owner can revoke access at any time, leaving the buyer with a standard console and no access to the promised games. There is a legitimate alternative: developer mode. For $19, Microsoft lets you install emulators and homebrew in a legal sandbox that doesn't break system security. On Xbox, the choice is between a legal emulation environment or becoming a victim of marketplace fraud. Older hardware provides a completely different experience. Years of testing have refined these exploits, moving the reward much higher than the risk. The PS4's Gold Hen exploit now boasts 95% stability, supporting automatic game dumping and sleep mode. For original 2017 Switch models, an unfixable USB flaw lets you run custom bootloaders without any physical soldering, if your serial number matches the vulnerable range. The trade-off is total offline play. You have to permanently disconnect from the internet and refuse all firmware updates to keep the system jailbroken. You also have to accept that modifying these consoles will reduce their resale value for the average buyer who wants a clean, unbanned system. For those willing to trade online features for offline preservation, these aging consoles represent the most stable jailbreak experience available. The main argument for jailbreaking is saving money on games, but the math rarely adds up when you factor in the hardware. Over 5 years, jailbroken setups add hidden costs like console depreciation, ban risks, and bricking, driving the total past $1,000. Compare that to legal subscriptions. For $600 to $900, you maintain resale value with zero hardware risk. The legal route also includes secure cloud saves, automatic patches, and multiplayer access, features that piracy removes. When you weigh the risk of losing a $500 machine against the cost of a subscription, legal gaming is actually the more affordable path. To decide if you should proceed, you only need to answer 3 questions about your hardware and how you use it. First, if you play online or modify your only console, stop. Ban and brick risks make it a poor choice. Offline gamers with an older PS4 or Switch are in the clear. But for PS5 or OLED Switch, Current methods are too unstable. For PS5 owners, the best move is to wait. Stable, one-click tools are predicted to arrive by late 2026 or 2027 once the BootROM leak is fully utilized. Modifying an older machine for experiments keeps your primary console safe while you wait for those modern tools to mature.